One is the platform, actually, how it looks at the moment. And the second one is we wanted to make a suggestion of like how a 5-day move might look from which tools to use. Right? We discussed last time how much time would we actually be able to spend with the students, and we said something like maybe around 4 hours. So we made a suggestion of which tools from the accelerator could be used, how that could be more or less structured. But again, it would be up to every university to say, we want to focus less on this and we put more focus here. So that flexibility we should have. Okay, so and maybe we actually get started. I think we have 1.5 hours maximum. We get started first with the platform, and then we move into how we could structure the day. Okie dokie. Second. Okay, I will share my screen now. I'll move in between some windows, maybe in between. That's why I will share the entire. The moment not loading my screens. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to see the screen now. So this is what you know already, right? This is the kind of the look and feel that we want to have later for the platform. What is important now is that we first of all here have at the top an admin area. So at some stage, maybe today or maybe tomorrow, we will give you some login details and we will set up your own MOOW so that you can basically play around and start changing things, start trying to break things and let us know where there are the small mistakes as well as the big mistakes. If that is a typo, if that is a function that doesn't work, so please send us all these because then they will be fixed for everyone. So I'm going now to the admin area, which through the structure I will go in a second. What I would like to actually do is I would like to start the process from the very, very beginning. So if we, for example, we go now to a function that you will actually not see, because this is a function where we can add new moves. So here are a couple of, let's say, test moves that we have created, and now we can add a new move. So we would say, what is the name of the move? So that's what is a good topic? Solutions for a greener tomorrow is it? And then let's say, then we put in the URL path where it will be accessible later on. It will be then on moow-code.eu/ let's say greener tomorrow. We want that it's visible on the landing page, and then we create a login. So let's say the login is now for me. The email address is also for me, and the password is test. So now we have basically created a new move. And if we would go now to, at the moment we have it on beta.moov.eu, you would now be able to see, hopefully, it's loading. Here is a solution for a greener tomorrow as a new move. You see now here some misleading information. For example, the location, of course, doesn't fit. But what we do is we just created kind of like a template with some fake information in it, so that the website is basically, when it starts, that it's not empty. And these are now all the things that we need to change. For example, the logo here is in the university logo that can be uploaded, and the image here, for example, is in the image. So if we click on it, we are actually going now here at the top. You can see beta.moov.eu/greener tomorrow. So there will be also the link that you would be able then to share with the students and with whomever. And we have here again, this page now looks exactly the same as I showed you before, because this is just our template. And this can now all be adapted. So if we go, for example, now back to MOOW Code, we can go into the configuration. Wait, I need to go into the right one, into the greener tomorrow one. So my login was this and this. And now you can see here, you don't see these super admin functions anymore. So now it looks here in the navigation like you will see it. And you could now go into the configuration and you could say, okay, I don't want to have it visible anymore on the landing page. I mean, we should have done that in the initial phase when I set it up, because yeah, when you prepare it, then you want to hide it. A function that we will still program is that even if it's already online, let's say, that we can prevent people from logging in, right? If we want to say students should not log in, even if we have set them up, because we want to release some of the content or the password protected area a bit later, then we could do that here. And then we have 3 functions here. One is copy the template text. So let's say, I don't know, for whatever reason, all the texts are gone or something like this. We can say copy template text, and then all the website will be filled again with some dummy content. And the same with the template schedule that I can show you in a second. We didn't want to have it completely empty and then you build it, but we actually wanted to just be able that you can say like, maybe we agree even that we want to have all the kind of the same schedule. Then it's easier if we put that in the template. You can copy it and you don't have to set up like 40 different schedule elements. And the same with the template images, that there are some base images which we hope that you all replace them. I think actually this is one of the functions that doesn't. No, it actually works, because here are the template images. So we can change all these images, but we could also change them back by, again, taking the original images. So, and maybe this changing of texts and images, you can see here on the left-hand side, there is one button, change text and images. You can click on in there. And then you see on the left-hand side, there has been now like this navigation where you can basically change all the contents that are on the website. It is not a drag and drop and clicking kind of building your website thing, as you might know it from Wix.com and things like this. I mean, we're not capable of building something like this. Here it is more, we have a very structured format that we need to agree on what kind of information will be presented. And this kind of information you can then edit. That is also so that not every university creates its own style, and then again, it often doesn't even look good, and then you break it. And so we basically say we want to reduce also the complexity from the development, but also the complexity from filling it in by not giving you too much options. Because the complexity by having more options, especially from the programming, it just explodes, and there can be just many more problems once you do that. So how does it work? You might go into the layout. We will add much more descriptions here. We don't have it with most of the things yet, but for example, this is the title in the top menu for home. So if we see here home at the very top, and try to mark it here. So we could now say, because some of you want to put it in your national language, in German, it might be Startseite, right? That means basically landing page. So if I now go down and I say save, it should hopefully change it here to Startseite, right? And like this, you can change all the text. What I recommend is we will put here more descriptions in it, and you can even see the example if you make a mouse over here, how it is in our template. So if you, at some stage, you just empty this and then you're like, what the hell does that mean? Then you can go over here and say, in the English example, it would be schedule. So like this, you can change all these things in the navigation. You can change things in the footer, for example. If we go to the very bottom, we have here an event organized by, and then there's a university logo, an event supported by. I believe I'm not sure if we're allowed to change this. Yes, actually, yes, but I mean, it's a recommendation, so another recommendation, it's a requirement by the European Commission to have this kind of statement that it's supported. You can put here a Facebook link, and if you put here a Facebook link, yeah, it doesn't really matter. then hopefully what should it do? It should also, oh, no, it doesn't do it. It should here have appearing here at the bottom then a Facebook icon. Okay, so wait, let me write it down right away. Because one of my main goals is to identify also many of these things. FB logo in footer. Sure. Okay. So it works basically everywhere the same. And we can, for example, in the move selection on that page, we can upload now a picture because before there was no picture. And we could say now here we take one from Berlin. We save it. It will upload the picture. And hopefully, if we go to the overview page again, it shows here a picture of Berlin, right? So you can customize all this. Now the next thing would be here, for example, the Riga, Latvia to change it. So we would go here. We would it takes it actually from the home page where we stated as well. And on the home page, we would then just say not Riga, Latvia, but Berlin, Germany. And we can adapt all the times and so on. If we change it, you will be able to see it. Not yet. Maybe it takes it from somewhere else. Okay, I need to see from where it takes it. Okay, and like this, you can go through all these. You can go to the partners pages, and you can upload there some logos of partners that you might want to upload. So, for example, if I go here to the partners page, you have here like who's the main partner. So that's your university. You can describe it a little bit. You can upload a picture and whatever kind of picture you would like to have. You can upload partner images if you say like we are partnering with an incubator and that is helping here, or any kind of internal or external partners. You can upload the logos, some descriptions and so on. And here this text you can also edit because it would be nice then to show also it's a European project. But what you cannot edit is basically these logos because I mean they should be for all of the websites the same. Okay. Yeah, likewise for all the other subpages. Maybe something interesting to look at is the actual schedule. So at the moment we are logged in as a user, so that's why we also see a little bit more in the schedule than what you would see when you're not logged in. For example, if we see here the welcome, if we can click on it and then we can see already where it takes place, and then there might be even a link to the Zoom meeting. If people are not logged in, they cannot see that link to the Zoom meeting because we want to always make it available for the users or the participants of the MOOW. Yeah, and then you can click here through all the different elements. Only if you provide more details in where we built the schedule, then you can click on it and we'll open it. We did it only for the first one, so it has this nice function to it. Okay, but how do we actually fill it? Okay, so the changing of the text is maybe clear. So next we would say maybe we want to manage the schedule. Again, here's an example schedule, how it looks with when it starts, when it ends, what is the title, who is the person of doing it. Is it a break? Because we want to make sure that if it's a break, like a coffee break or so, we want to visually differentiate it from other elements. And then you can edit an existing one, or you can add a new schedule entry, where you will be able to say when it starts, when it ends, what's the title, the description, John is doing this. And here we can also select one of the tools from our accelerator. And let's say we take this innovation space generator. And here, for example, we would rather put like zoom.com/whatever kind of idea is behind it. All right, offline location. Yeah, if you will integrate some offline events, then you can also say here we are in this building for the first get together, or we want to have a party tonight, or that's all up to you. Okay, so if we save this, And now we go back to, let's say, the schedule. Are we here correct? Yes, we are correct here. Then we would see here that it says here is the innovation space generator. So we have actually, it's not uploaded yet. In the new version, it has a little icon here in front of it, and it says click on it so that actually the students know, okay, it should be better described here, of course. It should say like, hey, in this session, you will be exploring the problem that you will be working on, and you will be working on the innovation space generator canvas, which you can find below, something much more extensive description. And then the students can click actually on the innovation space generator, and then they will be guided to actually where's an introduction video where they can download something, what are the steps and so on. Okay, so actually what I just realized that it would actually be quite handy to have in the schedule overview like a button, delete all elements, right? Because we pre-fill it with 40, and let's say you would like to say, let me start from scratch, I don't need this. Then you need to click here at the moment like 25 times delete, which is a bit pointless. So maybe we need a button to delete all schedule entries. Okay, now view schedule is basically just going to the schedule as I mentioned before. And then what is of course important to us is the attendees. So at the moment, we always set it up in the way that the MOOW Code, let's say leader that we have set up in the beginning, we also set that person up as, let's say, a participant. Why? Because we want to enable that person to also see what a user sees. So if I'm now logged in, I can see an admin area, but I also see user area, right? So that's why I'm here. So what we would do then just is like this person is not added to any kind of team. So we can now say we want to add a new participant. So in Germany, we always use Max Mustermann. That's our fake name on credit cards and so on. So that's max@mustermann.com. And his password doesn't really matter. So we can save Max. Okay. We can also save Anna, Anneli, Anna, Anna.com. Password doesn't really matter. And let's take another one. We have Jimmy's at gmail.com. So now we have basically 4 users, including me, but doesn't really matter. So what we want to do then next is let's imagine we have like 30 students who want to take our first move. Then we want to put them into teams. So we go here, we say we add a new team, and it can be as easy that we say team name is team number 1. You can also say that's team Jaguar, that's team, I don't know, team Rabbit. It's up to you to do that. Then we might want to add a link to a mural board, but we can also do that a bit later. And then we say, let's say Anneli and Anna and Jim go to this team, we save it. And then we can see here team number 1 has at the moment 2 team members. We have no mentors, and we haven't given them a link to the mural board. We can add a new other team. So team number 2. It only shows who doesn't have a team yet. So I put myself also in this team. And then we could also add a mural board. Let me just see if I have the link here of the mural board on my other screen. Share. Visitors, copy link, I think. So let's say here is a mural board link. So because we are working in teams and not every individual gets a mural board link, but only the team together because they are supposed to collaborate on that mural board, we do that on the team level. And lastly, we can add some mentors. So the idea is that they are not just going through all this alone, and especially because it's digital. and they might not meet in the university at all. We need to guide them, right? So we need to add a mentor. And again, our mentor is John Johnnies. He's of course the CEO of Green Inc. How to contact, that is because everyone, from my experience or from our experience, is that everyone wants to be contacted, involved in a different way. So that could be that John says, like, I'm very busy, contact me on WhatsApp, my number is, yeah. And then we can say, okay, just to make it a bit more nicer, we can say, here's our, it's John. And he's consulting team number 1, or let's say team number 2, because I think I'm in team number 2, and I can save now. So now we can see John has one team, and he has uploaded an image. So we always have a quite good overview of if a person has a team already, or if a team, when we go back to the teams, for example, if a team, how many people are in the team. So it hopefully enables us to easily see when there are not enough people in one team and so on. This, however, I have to say, mostly you will be probably planning all this beforehand in whatever kind of Excel spreadsheets you say, like which students take part in this. Then you have a list of people registering, and then in Excel you will say, oh, these 3 will be one team, and then you will just type it in here for the system. The system is not meant to be for noting all these things down. So usually from our experience, the same, for example, for the schedule. I mean, I would always build the schedule first in Excel and then drag and drop and put even more information and so on. And once I'm done, then I would put it here, right? Because Excel is much better to prepare things and to move one thing up in the schedule more. But that's just how we normally do it. Okay, so these are some of the core functions. Here it also says here the general configuration, files and communication. These are basically just 2 fields where you can type in some information. Maybe we pre-fill this here as well, because we said last time, in terms of communication between the teams, basically the teams will use, or we recommend them to use the standard communication tool that the very university is using. So if you're using Microsoft Teams, for example, I mean, I would just recommend them to create one channel or one team there, and then they can communicate there. The same with file storage. So we don't want to create another cloud or another communication tool here, because they have that all accessible there. Here it's more, it's about them to have a one-stop shop for finding information when to do what, which is a schedule, find information on the other attendees. So for example, in the very beginning, that they find the, let's say, email addresses, or we can also discuss, for example, if we want to put phone numbers in there, that depends on your data privacy laws, or what you ask the students to allow you to do. That they can find the information on the mentors, that they can find all the videos and the tools and the links. But for file storage, again, we will never be as good as the file storage of Teams. Our communication, even if we build now something here, it will not be as powerful as Microsoft Teams or anything like this. So what's the point of creating this? So we went now through all these elements here on the left-hand side. At the very bottom, there is basically the accelerator with all the information of all the phases. So our accelerator, you can do that over 6 months and spend a lot of time on this, but we will have just 1 week and basically, let's say 5 days or 4 hours, 20 hours. So it will be very limited in terms of which tools to use, but you can say, what we suggest, we don't like it, we want to use some other tools or so, then please use it. And in addition, we have here, also the playbook. We uploaded it now just as a PDF, because as we said last time, the playbook has a lot of interesting things that you can do, and it has access to templates and things like this, but not every element of the playbook you can kind of is prepared for you to integrate in the schedule. So if the playbook says, like, here's a cool creativity technique, and I don't know, a link to mind mapping software, then please use it and create in the schedule one element and say idea generation by mind mapping. And if you then put there a Zoom link and say, hey, we do that all together, or if you just make a link and a description available there, that would be up to you. But in terms of the playbook, because it's such a huge variety of elements, at the moment we haven't built it in like this. So if you would click on here, the only thing that is here is you can download it and explore it. Maybe then in the second time when we do the move, maybe we put here every element of the playbook here separately, and then you can filter for which phase that might be interesting to enable that a little bit more. Okay, so this is, and then you can log out here, and the development list is just for us at the moment with the kind of the small and the big things that we need to do. So we would maybe also keep this here, and we will clean it up, because at the moment it's just randomly put stuff what we need to develop. But maybe if you have some suggestions, please send them to us. We put them in the development list, and once it's done, we put like a comment underneath and say like, this is how we addressed it, and if we addressed it and how we addressed it. Okay, so if we now go to the user area, maybe we can also find a nicer way for this. User sounds a little bit, I don't know. Or I don't know, attendee is also not much nicer. I don't know if we can call them movers or something like this. Would be nice to advance the wording here a little bit. So if they would log in, here they can go, of course, to the schedule. That is again shown in the same way as said before. Then they can say, okay, I explored this. Where is it? Here's my Zoom link. Here's a link to the innovation space generator. So I would recommend to make the schedule quite extensive, so that they are not feeling lost. Because in our experience in these kind of digital hackathons, now, I don't want to say you cannot over communicate, but I would rather write a couple of sentences more than too few, because people often don't remember really how that works, or things like this. So we showed this here without the navigation on the left-hand side, because the schedule looks better if you have it a little bit wider. Then they can go to the move board. If I click on here, it will open it in a new window. But I go back now. We have a look at this later. I can see here who are my team members. Here Max is the only one in my team, and then here we would put some information on like how they should exchange files, or how they should communicate with the team, right? Like what I showed before, where you just write like, hey, we recommend you to use, I don't know, Microsoft Teams, but you are free to also create your own WhatsApp group or Facebook group or Slack, or again, from my experience, the students will find their own best way of how to do that. Okay, that was the team. Oops, that was the wrong one. The same in my files. It will just provide some information. It should be placed here once it is written. Like where should they store files? Maybe you want to say, okay, even something like for the final presentation file, please name it like team name underline something. It's up to you what you provide them with. And in terms of the mentors, they can basically see here all the mentors and how to contact them and so on. They would access the tools primarily through the schedule, right? So they would say, it's Monday morning, so I go on the schedule, I go here in the welcome. The welcome will normally not have a tool, but it will be just, let's say, a Zoom link where it's a short session. So then there might be an introduction to the hackathon, and then after some time, after forming the teams, then they have the first tools where they actually work in the teams and like, let's say, independent and don't have a live communication with the host of the hackathon. What we can also do is, that would be something to discuss, is whether or not we want to make them all the contents, all the tools available. Again, here there are, I think, 36 tools, it says here, are in there. They will not get in touch with all these tools in this 1 week, right? But it could be an idea to say, well, we want that they become more entrepreneurial, and then if they want, we want to enable them to explore more tools than we are actually using. Time it might be confusing for the students because the first time they log in, they go in here and then they, I don't know, then they're disappointed that we are not using all these tools. So I would be happy to hear from you how you would like to do it. The easiest for us would be just we, in the general configuration, we say it's your decision whether or not this element will be shown, right? Or we put here like a big headline on top of it and saying like, this is not exactly the content that you will experience in the MOOW, but it is much more extensive. Please feel free to explore it. Just an opportunity for you to learn. Okay. And then they can change their profile. They can upload a picture. I think it's always nice if you then later have pictures. And if we can say here, this is a student. And he can upload his picture, and then maybe we even show all the students next to each other, and then we have a nice kind of overview and a more visual connection between the students. And they can change the password, so basic things. So main thing is that they will go through the schedule. They will have some live sessions on Zoom, but then at some stage they also say, okay, let's say here. They go into, I think we put it here on the first tool. Then they see the tool here. They can watch the video, how to use the tool. They can even download it if they want to use it for something else. They have the steps here. And at some stage at the end of the video, it also says like, oh, okay, now that you know how to use the tool, now go to your MOOW board or your board. So and then they would click on here. And then either independently or as a team, they would fill out this board. Let's see, it should hopefully load. And this is something that we then would make available to you. Let's say the example, how we could imagine you do it. But of course, you can adapt it then as you like. Okay, maybe we stop here for a moment before we go through the phases, and it would be interesting for me to actually hear some questions, some comments. If it's very minor things like, I don't know, from typos to something, please just write it down and send it afterwards. But more on like what kind of things are missing, what could be more engaging, any ideas in this respect.
Well, to be honest, thank you very much, Thorsten, for this great presentation. I mean, at first sight, it looks really, really nice, and I mean, and really customizable, which will produce very, very nice outputs at the end. I believe that, I mean, I don't have particular requests or like any changes or suggestions at the moment, but I believe that when we go into it and start using it, then things will start. Yeah. But it seems very user friendly. I mean, it seems so straightforward somehow, which is very, very nice to see. And especially for this kind of projects, I think this is a super wow result. Like really wow.
Thank you very much. Yes, definitely. Once you will find lots of mistakes once you start using it.
Yeah.
We haven't even actually. I think it was only 2 days ago that Emma was the first user, and he sent us some feedback that we wanted to make the very obvious things, take them out before today. And I'm fairly happy that it works without too many mistakes of pages not working at all, which normally happens when you showcase a website the first time. But yes, there will be more things probably, and that you find it unhandy or that it find it too complicated. For example, in the and please let us know all these small things, right? Like for example, when you type in when a session starts and when it ends, at the moment it doesn't have a date picker yet. You know that from other websites where you basically click on and then it comes a calendar and then you fill it out and then you say what is the time and so on. It doesn't have it yet. For a programmer, a date picker is often slower because a programmer often wants to just type in the date in the classical format and the time because it's quicker. But
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the usability of people who are not so used to these kind of formats, we will then also have a date picker. But all these kind of small and big things, please let us know. Maybe some are very complex to implement, and if it then takes too long, then we say maybe we don't do that. But yeah, please let us know all these kind of things. Okay. Any other ideas, feedback, questions?
Okay, so I will have the feedback and the question. Of course, I agree with Adrian that it looks great for sure, and I'm sure that it can be intuitive. I'm just maybe technically excluded a little bit, so that is why maybe I don't get everything at the moment. But as far as I understand, we should start from creating our own schedule, yeah, and we can use this accelerator to this extent to which we agree with the exercises that are for each day. Yeah, if we plan to use something else, then it is here in this accelerator. We should use our own platforms like Google Classroom or whatever, Microsoft Teams, just to organize it, because this is just chosen by you, yeah, from our playbook. Yeah, that is
no, actually,
right?
Actually, it's two different things. One thing is the playbook, and the other thing is what we call the accelerator. So the accelerator has basically, usually for, I would say, 90% of all these tools that I will go through, it has a video and an explanation, and then it has a canvas here in Mural. If you find something interesting in the playbook, then you can use it. It might be just an external link that is in the playbook, or it might be something that you want to integrate here, because you will be also completely flexible to customize it. There might be things that if you say, I don't know, I want to make an Excel spreadsheet available to my students because we have an idea evaluation tool in our university, then yes, make this somehow available to them on your Teams platform, or create a Google link that you can insert here. It would be, after the moves, it would be interesting to see which kind of elements of the accelerator have you used, which kind of elements of the playbook have you used, and which kind of additional elements have you used. Because if you use additional elements, it means you didn't find them in the accelerator or the playbook, which might mean that we want to extend it, what we have done, for the future. So this is the learning, and this is why we also want to implement it, I think, in the project twice, that we start the first time, and we might not be able to integrate something that quickly, but then if you or if two universities say, look, there's another tool which is essential, but we didn't find it anywhere, then we might implement it then for the second implementation. Yes, you're right with this. Yeah, and yes, you can start now with building the schedule in it. We even create a fake schedule, right? Like just try to use it as much as possible to find these flaws. And one question that is also that I had here, which you tackled a little bit, is like, I went through it now quite quickly, right? But we need to somehow enable everyone. Let's say one of your colleagues should do it now. How do we enable that colleague to use the system? So now that would be my question. Should we actually record a little bit better prepared video of kind of like what I just did? Or should we have it more as kind of written documentation with screenshots? Some people like more like written thing, some people like more videos, but for us it would be interesting to know which is your favorite, because creating both is more work.
Okay, so we can test it somehow during the next days, which you present. I mean, just the version which is presented here. this accelerator, this
Flight number
sorry.
PC72162 adjunct.
Candice, can you shut down your microphone for the moment, because we hear where all the airplanes go. Thanks.
No, if Candice wants to ask something, that is fine. That's okay.
Okay, you finished. Okay, thanks, Agatha.
Yeah, no, it was just on Thorsten's question there. I actually feel that the video-based approach would be better, whether we just use the screen recording that we have for this and we can edit that down. I'm thinking for the training pack, or if you want to record something specific. It seems very lends itself to a kind of screen recorded thing, just the way you're moving about. I think that's going to be quite explained to just using a written format with screenshots. So my initial suggestion would be that we do it like a video-based instruction as opposed to like a written instruction.
Okay. Yep. Good. Well, I think it's a good idea. Maybe we can, for the moment, just use this video recording, and if someone else wants to know it, I mean, that person doesn't have to watch all our discussions that we have now, but it probably only took like 25 minutes to initially introduce it. And then maybe after the first move, then we say, and once the platform has changed again, then we go into more publicly available documentation, either in video form or in written form. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to raise my hand, but it's not working, so I will just do it manually.
I saw it. It worked.
Yeah, I asked the question if we can test it somehow. I mean, just your proposition, this accelerator,
Yes.
this version of accelerator, okay? Because I understand that we should just decide if we would like to add something, yeah, or what we would like to use from this particular version which you presented to us, yeah?
Yeah. I would like to do a couple of small advancements until tomorrow, and then tomorrow I would send each one of you some login details. There are some features which are kind of very basic, but in the very beginning not really necessary. For example, that if you forget your password, we don't have this forget password function yet, right? Because we thought, like, I mean, you can just ask us to reset the password. I mean, we will still develop all these kind of things. But we will just send you an email with your login name and with your password, and then you can tomorrow start exploring it and start breaking it, and yeah, we will keep a backup of everything. So hopefully will work.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Then, if there are for the moment no further questions, I would actually go through the board, or the mural board that we prepared. Again, this one is based on our discussion that we want to have a 5-day move and have around 4 hours of time for the students. If you say, well, my requirements in my class is it needs to be, I don't know, it's a full day schedule. I have a summer school from Monday to Friday and I have 8 hours. That would be, you can still do it in that way. I mean, you can have a different schedule. You can add here some more tools, but this one is the basis that we believe you need to go through it with these around about 20 hours of time. So what we also try to do is, I mean, we have it oriented by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We always put at the top what is kind of the idea of the day. But you might say later on, well, on Monday, we want to have an external speaker which motivates them, and that takes 2 hours. And you might say, okay, we put the scoping canvas to the Tuesday and we eliminate one thing on Tuesday. So that's all up to you. What we also did is we added here some information in red saying like when we believe it makes sense to eliminate this tool, right? So for example, if the students all know each other, then maybe you could say the team canvas where they say like what am I good at and what are my roles and so on. You could eliminate that if you think like the time could be spent in a better way. So I would try to go now very briefly through all the different tools, how we see it. So the first one is, The first one is on Monday. You have, of course, a welcome. You explain what the MOOW is about and what the challenge is. But especially if you have interdisciplinary teams and so on, it's important that they get to know their team and that they explore a little bit the general challenge they are working on. So in the team canvas, then they can fill it in and say like, okay, what are my personal goals? What am I good at? Maybe they can say these are the rules and how we actually work together. That includes and how do we want to communicate with each other, with all the challenges that they discuss it, as well, all the challenges that we have with digital work. Right. So maybe also what are my guiding principles, right? I mean, it's something that they should just explore and get a feeling of who is actually sitting with me together on the table, on the virtual table, maybe in this project. Next, they would go into the so-called innovation space generator. So here, that really depends now on how clearly the challenge is defined. But you can say, I mean, if it's a broad one, I think the first one is mental health on campus, right? So it could be that they even mention here some industries which are of interest, and then try to connect these industries with the overall challenge. Then they would go into discussing what are the target groups and what are the groups that are working there. Okay, mental health on campus might be then, I don't know, the teachers, the students, the administrators, and so on. Then they try to identify what are the issues that these people have. Right, and they might have chosen only one group that they say mental health on campus. We want to work on the mental health either of the students or maybe of the teachers, right? And then they try to identify which are the issues of the target group that they have selected. So what I'm doing at the moment, I'm explaining also what is in the videos, but the video of this one is, let's say, 10 minutes long, and I'm trying to do that much quicker here. Then they, from the issues, they go and say like, oh, what are the goals of the target group? What do they actually want to achieve? And then they build a so-called "How might we" statement. It's the first try to say, how might we, for example, as an example, how might we be able to enable teachers to not feel down when they go home, right? Could be that they come to this statement. So that's the end of the first canvas already. That we need to move them to that they make decisions all the way, right? What is my target group? What is the issue I'm really working on? Because they might fill in here 15 different issues. And we need to enable them to progress. And here it says, for example, if you start with a clearly defined challenge, let's say that is already very close to this so-called "How might we" statement, then you could also exclude this canvas. But that depends on if you say, well, we have it very broadly, or you say, well, we want to work specifically on this target group, this issue, then you could exclude. And the next one is the scoping canvas, which is partly overlapping with the innovation canvas, where you put the "How might we" statement at the top. And then it is also like, why do we want to work on this challenge? We as a team, right? That also motivates them again. Again, what are the customer segments? You might have explored it before already, but again, you have now selected the "How might we" statement at the end of the first canvas. So now you can provide more information. They can think about what is the customer journey. Again, in the video, all this is explained much more. What are assumptions, basic assumptions? So, oh, the assumption is, I don't know, teachers go home at 5 p.m. because they're so unhappy. I don't know, and these kind of assumptions need to be tested. What are open questions that the team has, and what is the overall goal that they have with this project? And lastly, what kind of related initiatives or resources might they have? That could include like, hey, I know 3 teachers that we can interview later on and they can give us feedback on the idea. Or, hey, there was a cool project that I know about in, I don't know, in the United States, and it talks about mental health of teachers. So it's just like where they put all these kind of information that they might be able to come back to. You could eliminate this canvas, for example, if you use this canvas, for example, and you end up with a "How might we" statement, right? So if you think of like, okay, how might we here, the ending part of the first canvas is enough to move into ideation or in the creativity phase, then you could also exclude it. I like the scoping canvas because it talks also about resources, what you want to achieve, and especially assumptions that we have. But again, it is always how much time you have and what you exclude. You cannot do everything. That's for you to decide. And it also probably depends heavily on which kind of level of study or which kind of pre-knowledge the students have. If I would do this with bachelor students first semester and they don't know anything about business, let's say, then I would say probably 1 or 2 canvases on the first day are already enough. If I would do that with master students and they are working in marketing, sales, and innovation, then I would say, easy, they will do these 3 canvases in only 2 hours. But again, that is all for you guys to decide. So that's the first day. On the second day, the goal is I know my customers and the specific problem I want to solve. At the moment, we are still quite broad. And here we go into, we want to understand the persona. So I want to imagine, if we talk, let's say, about teachers, I want to say, what is a normal teacher? Or let's say a university professor that's mostly male, let's say, but it depends on if you decide before, like, hey, we want to work on, I don't know, professors working in social sciences, maybe then there wouldn't be a male, but would be a female. But you might say it's Jim. Jim is normally 52 years old. That's the average age of a professor, has a family, has a car, whatever, goes to university at 8 o'clock in the morning and leaves at 5. So what are the pains that this person has? What are the hopes and dreams this person has? What does he actually want to get done? And what is his kind of reality? And then maybe you have heard some stories about the teachers, or you have some experiences with teachers. So all this will be written down so that they have a better understanding for whom they actually develop something. In the second tool, they think about the customer journey. So basically, they try to write down what is actually the life of John, the teacher. And again, here, the more narrow, the better. Like, it would be really good if they say, look, we want to help that the teaching class, let's say, of John doesn't contribute to mental stress. So if we say, let's think about John overall, then we can think about when he leaves in the morning to job to when he goes to bed in the night. But we could also say more focused on the class, like this 1.5 hours teaching class. How can we reduce his stress in class? Right? I mean, might be that, I don't know, technology is not working, so then John gets already stressed and things like this. But we want to just have the students mapping what is happening actually. What are the different phases of John? What does he do? How does he feel? Right? Which channels does the customer actually use during the defined phase? Again, there's a video for it which explains it. And at the end, there comes a much more complex how might we statement builder. So on the first day, they have created something more general on the really limited knowledge that they have. And now, having understood more who is the persona and what is the journey or what are the activities that this person does, now the students will be much better, much more able to write down a detailed how might we statement. And that's normally a very good ending of the day, so that they know, okay, so next day we start with the development of the solutions, but we want to end with that we say what is actually what we're trying to develop, what is a specific problem that this target group has to develop it. We have 5 minutes left in this meeting. Did we only have until 1:30 or did we have until 2?
Until 1:30.
Oh, 1:30 already. Oh, okay, yeah. So then I go a bit quicker. So Wednesday. Here are a couple of creativity techniques. Crazy 8 is just writing down some ideas, brainstorming cards. It's more of a PDF. And analogy thinking is thinking about where it is the similar problem as the problem that they are working on. Here, I think everyone has their own kind of idea what are good creativity techniques or thinking processes. So I would assume that most universities will adapt these and choose what they think is the best. And then we suggest one basically evaluation matrix, which is the how, now, wow matrix, where you put all your ideas that came up and try to structure them, because at the end of the day, they should select only one idea that they should move forward with. Then they come into the 4th day. So they want to then take this one idea and make this much more concrete and develop from the raw idea a solution. So then comes the vision card, which tries to summarize again for whom is this, what is the problem they have, what do we actually offer, maybe how do we make money or how do we sustain it financially, why will this rock, why will it fail, and so on and so on and so on. So again, thinking a little bit more about the product. The innovation battlefield is then especially to think about what are the features and benefits that this has, because at the moment it might be a raw idea. Hey, we could have a cool app, but what specifically should be in that app and what should not be part of this app? And there is a goal that they don't over engineer it, because then you will never finish your project and what is actually the core they should find out. The feedback collector is once they have a clear idea of it, or maybe they even can do something out of paper or something like this, and they give this prototype. I don't think they have much time for prototyping because it's only 20 hours, but then they should share their idea with someone and get feedback. Of course, if it's hard to reach the target group and it's just a short time, you could also say, well, let's eliminate the feedback collector, and then they will just develop the idea and present it. And lastly, on the Thursday, they should start with putting together all the elements for a good pitch with the pitching canvas. And then they feel comfortable that on the next day, they have to pitch their ideas in front of a jury. And then for the last day, we just have the pitching checklist, because let's say we have 4 hours on the last day. They need to prepare, they need to finalize the pitch, and then probably you need already 2 hours for all the final pitches and finding the winner. So we didn't really put much content on the last day. I would even assume that some students will just work on the Thursday much longer to get the pitch done and have feel comfortable and relaxed at what they pitch about in the next day. But yeah, it's always good to have something ready for that. Okay, so this is basically an overview of all what we are suggesting. Do you have any feedback in this respect? We can also we would just make copies of this canvas and then make it available to you, that you can also start playing around and thinking like what would be important elements for you, which ones you want to eliminate, and so on.
I believe that this part is just clear, yeah, that the exercises are to some extent similar to those which we proposed, so it's okay, yeah, to me.
Thank you, Agata.
Yeah, it seems comprehensive, so we can just go ahead with this for now, I think.
Good. I mean, I'm not sure if you work with Mural, but it's really easy. You can just go into our accelerator, take another tool, download the PDF, drag and drop it into it, and by this customizing it very easily. Again, I'm not a big fan. I cannot teach the content of any other teacher in the world. I always need to make it my own. So if you're the same, just there's no hard feelings. Kick out what you don't like, right, and make this Mural board your own thing. And the same with how you implement the move.
Perfect.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I would say, looking at the time, we're just on time. We sent you tomorrow the login details. Please write us any kind of feedback at the moment. Just put it in an email, send it to Emmanuel and me. And then we will report also on the developments, how we implemented that feedback and how we advanced with the functions and so on. And yeah, I'm not sure when, did you already plan when to host the moves? Because I remember when we were here in Münster that I think Elena said you would do it in April, May, if I recalled it correctly. Is anyone hosting it already in March?
Hello. I believe that we can do that on March, at least during the March, but we haven't planned it yet. So we're waiting for camera ready version.
Okay, good. Comes tomorrow. Thanks, Elena.
Okay, so Torsten, I think what I'll do is for the collection of the feedback, I'll create a template on Word, then I'll share it to them so they can collect it individually, because I know the universities are the ones going to work on them. So for example, they put an issue and also help us with graphics so we can easily make corrections.
Okay,
So,
yes, no, maybe that's also a good idea, even that we have an online Excel spreadsheet, right? You put the problem, you even, if you have a desired solution, you can put the desired solution, and then we do it there. Okay, good idea. Okay, yeah, let's do that. We provide it tomorrow with the login details.
Yeah.
What would be good is if you could tell us, normally the login is an email address. I mean, again, at the moment, there's no password recovery function, but if you tell us like who should have, let's say, administrator rights, you can even have it with the same admin rights with 2 or 3 people from the same organization, or you just share the login details. That would be up to you, but for us, it would be good to know. You could also say, hey, we as Riga, we want to have 2 separate moves, like one testing move, right? Where we just do all crazy things, and one that we already prepare for the real move that we will host later on, right? So one that we mess up, and that's also possible. For us, there's no scaling problem with how many moves we create. And later on, all these kind of things of kind of what is the name of the move and like what it says moovcode.eu / if you now just write Riga 1, we can later change it always to more the topic so that it looks better. So no problem with this as well. So maybe then actually we do that. We create 2 moves for each university so that you can say this is maybe even for some testing and this one is then the real one.
That really will help us just, to learn how it works, okay?
Okay, cool.
Without destroying the whole platform.
But try it.
Oh, believe me, you don't know my ability just to destroy everything that is technical. So I'm a genius. I don't know how it works, but I destroy everything, really.
Good. What you will see, for example, is that we are limiting you quite a bit in terms of, for example, when you upload pictures, we ask you to upload the pictures in the right format already and in the right file size, because we don't want that you can upload JPEG, PNG, TIFF, and then we have 10 different things. And so there are online tools where you can also cut them into the right format. So we really try to limit the complexity and the things that can actually break, because these kind of things often don't work. And you use kind of like JavaScript in the background, and then it doesn't work in all the browsers. We try to really limit this and put it more on your side, that you do that. If you know how to work with Photoshop, great. If not, you might know how to work with Canva, great. If not, there are online tools where you can crop pictures and then upload them in the right file size. Otherwise, maybe we need to, if that is an issue, maybe we put that also later on into the manual, how to do these kind of things. Okay, good. Then thank you very much, first of all, for the feedback. We will be working on some of the things that I noted down now tonight and early tomorrow morning, and then we will send you the login details tomorrow. Good. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.